This is BRICS Global Television Network's Daily Roundup. We begin with the headlines. In India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be sworn in for a third term this weekend. South Africa's African National Congress ponders the future of government after losing its majority in the recent elections. The St. Petersburg International Economic Forum begins in Russia. And we get a personal account of what it's like to run the world's oldest and longest ultramarathon ahead of this weekend's Comrades Marathon. Hello, I'm Juliet Newell. We start in India, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is preparing to be sworn in on the 9th of June for a third term as Prime Minister. This follows a closely contested election in which more than 600,000 voters cast their ballots over a period of 6 weeks. Despite expectations of another landslide victory for his Hindu nationalist party, the Bharatiya Janata, the election results have revealed a loss of majority, prompting swift coalition negotiations. The BJP, previously ruling independently for a decade, now forms a 15-member coalition called the National Democratic Alliance to secure governance. With 293 parliamentary seats, the alliance gains control of the 543-seat body. Analysts say Modi's re-election marks a shift towards coalition politics, necessitating consensus building for effective governance. The BJP must adapt its strategies in the face of this new political landscape. Meanwhile, in South Africa, a similar scenario presents itself as the governing party, the African National Congress, has also lost its majority in the recent elections. ANC senior members have been locked in talks at a hotel in Boksburg on Thursday to decide how to form a government of national unity, their preferred way forward. President Cyril Ramaphosa made light of the situation, addressing the media as he arrived at the venue.
What are you doing here? Are you that worried? Good to see you.
But the way forward for the country rests on the shoulders of the ANC, and it's certainly a heavy weight to bear as Ramaphosa and other senior members discuss and debate options open to them. The ANC's revealed it's held talks with several parties, including the Democratic Alliance and the Inkatha Freedom Party. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party, a newcomer led by former President Jacob Zuma, managed to secure around 12% of the votes in these elections, but has not responded to the ANC's invitation to meet. In Russia, 1 person's died and 100 injured, including children, when 2 trams collided on a bridge in the country's Siberian city of Kemerovo. Investigations into the crash are underway. Initial reports indicate 1 tram lost control while going downhill. The other tram had stopped to take on passengers when the 2 collided head-on. 2 versions of the crash are being probed: human error and technical malfunction. Authorities say the crash highlights the aging tram infrastructure, with some cars still in commission after 40 years, adding there's a desperate need to modernize the system. To China now, where Hong Kong's unveiled plans for a comprehensive prohibition on e-cigarettes, citing widespread agreement on the necessity of action and the detrimental effects on the health of youths. This decision follows the city's ban on the import, manufacture and sale of e-cigarettes and heated tobacco products, implemented about 2 years ago. The proposed ban will be extended to retail buyers regardless of their intention to smoke privately. Currently, possession of e-cigarettes for commercial purposes is already prohibited in Hong Kong. The proposed measures also include penalties of up to 7 years in jail and $250,000 fine for importers and imprisonment of up to 6 months for sellers and manufacturers. Other restrictions have been suggested, including prohibiting smoke while queuing outdoors and sharing cigarettes with minors. Additionally, flavoured tobacco may face a ban due to its appeal to women and young people. The government aims to introduce these measures to the legislature this year to achieve its goal of reducing the smoking prevalence rate to 7.8% by next year, down from 9.1% in 2023. US lawmakers are urging YouTube to restore a Hong Kong pro-democracy anthem that was blocked last month in compliance with a local court order. The anthem, Glory to Hong Kong, was originally penned for protesters advocating for the city's autonomy in 2019. The Congressional Executive Commission on China, responsible for examining Beijing's human rights record, has criticized YouTube for imposing a blanket ban on the song, arguing that it exceeded the court's injunction. The United States has emphasized the importance of protecting freedom of expression in Hong Kong and expressed concern over the city's growing authoritarian tendencies. YouTube has responded by affirming its commitment to freedom of expression in Hong Kong and stating its disagreement with the court's order. The platform is exploring options for an appeal while ensuring compliance with legal processes. The United States has denounced the court order, viewing it as detrimental to Hong Kong's reputation as a financial hub with promised autonomy. Up next, BRICS Plus Business News.
Your passport to discovery. Whether you're a seasoned globetrotter or an armchair traveler, BGTN Discover promises to inspire your wanderlust and broaden your horizons. Pack your curiosity, sense of adventure, and open heart as we set forth on a voyage of a lifetime. Watch BGTN Discover on StarSat Channel 120 as we transport you to a new corner of the world. Get ready to explore, dream, and discover with BGTN Discover.
The Art of Africa goes jazz. South Africa has given rise to a number of jazz artists, from trumpeter Hugh Masekela to pianist Abdullah Ibrahim and vocalist Gloria Bosman and Sibongile Khumalo. Their uniquely South African strain of jazz has become an essential thread in the international jazz fabric. The latest torchbearer of that sound is Nduduzo Makhathini, a pianist and composer whose albums have made him a leading voice in African jazz. Not only is he a jazz artist, but Makhathini embodies the roles of teacher and historian.
In BRICS Plus Business News, Russian Central Bank Chief Elvira Nabiullina has advocated for maintaining an open economy despite Western sanctions and trading restrictions stemming from Russia's actions in Ukraine, speaking at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in Russia. Once considered the Russian Davos, SPIEF now reflects Russia's isolation from much of the developed world with fewer Western attendees. Nabiullina has stressed the importance of economic integration despite sanctions, emphasizing the need to prioritize Russia's financial sovereignty. Finance Minister Anton Siluanov has echoed this sentiment, calling for efforts to enhance financial independence. Nabiullina has also urged the development of capital markets and cautioned against implementing tax hikes in a manner that discourages investment. While President Vladimir Putin's attending the forum, notable Western figures are absent, signaling Russia's strained relations with the West. The forum is hosting guests from over 130 countries, with Putin meeting leaders from Zimbabwe and Bolivia. Notable absentees include former German Chancellor Angela Merkel and China's Xi Jinping, highlighting Russia's shifting international relations landscape. The St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, described as the premier platform for discussing global development issues, kicked off on June the 5th and will conclude on June the 8th. And for more on the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, here's a report filed by CGTN.
We're here at Expo Forum Exhibition Center in Russia's second largest city, St. Petersburg. We're here for the 27th St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Well, it's my first time attending, so that's why I invited my colleague Aliosa to introduce me.
Hi, how are you doing?
I've heard that you've been reporting for this for over almost 10 years.
That's correct. And welcome to St. Petersburg. Is this your first time in Russia?
My first time in Russia.
Well, welcome. I think the weather you brought with you is really perfect.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful today.
Thank you for bringing nice weather here. Anyway, this is the most important forum for Russia. And it is not just about Russia. It is also about Russia's collaboration with many other world countries. It is the fact that Russian economy, Russian politicians would like to see more engagement with other international players in the world of the economy, in the world of the politics, and creating a multipolar world. And that's where Russia sees its niche to enter global market. And this is something that Russia is focusing on this year's forum.
So there is a session in about 15 minutes. It's drug security in BRICS countries. Do you want to check it out?
Absolutely, because as I mentioned, the BRICS is very important for Russians, very important for Russia, and most likely not just for the BRICS countries, because people from many other non-BRICS countries will be present here and listening. Oh, what is new in this area? What are the dangers which we have to address in our respective countries as well?
So we know that Russia has been currently facing multiple sanctions, 18,000 to be precise.
Yeah, that's correct.
So how is the country coping with all that economic pressure?
Economic pressure on Russia is, as you mentioned, huge, extensive. Many Western companies were forced to leave Russia. All Western car producers left Russia. And that created a huge void in the car market in this country. And that huge void was quickly filled by the Chinese car producers. We are next to Hongqi, for instance. It is the premium Chinese car brand. Let's not forget that Hongqi is this year's provider of car transportation for the entire forum. Yeah. And I think that we are coming very close to one very interesting stand, which is the stand of Alpha Bank. And they have very interesting logo. The best bank for business with China. China is apparently now Russia's window to the world. Russia is insisting on de-dollarization of its own economy and creating a multipolar world.
Today, Leos has shared with me many of his interesting observations after 9 years of reporting the forum, ranging from security to finance to automotive industry. So I truly learned a lot. And in the upcoming days, there's also going to be sub-forums regarding the de-dollarization and multilateralism.
China has ambitions to compete with the likes of Elon Musk's SpaceX in commercial space ventures. This follows the country's far side of the moon venture this week, highlighting the progress made in China's space exploration. Despite American frontrunners like SpaceX, the gap appears to be closing. Beijing recognizes the potential of a robust commercial sector to complement its existing capabilities. Analysts foresee parallels with the electric vehicle market, where Tesla initially led but now faces stiff competition from Chinese rivals like BYD. The Chinese government opened parts of the space sector to private investment in late 2014, resulting in the emergence of numerous companies. The recent launch of the Series 1 commercial rocket, which deployed 3 satellites, is just one of many planned launches this year. While SpaceX maintains a significant lead, China's commercial space industry is sizable and expanding rapidly, positioning itself competitively on the global stage. And SpaceX also has something to celebrate this week, as its Starship rocket achieved its first ever splashdown during a test flight on Thursday, marking a significant milestone for the prototype intended for potential Mars missions. Despite losing tiles and sustaining damage, the spacecraft successfully landed softly in the ocean after re-entering the atmosphere over the Indian Ocean near Australia. Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, praised the accomplishment on Twitter. The launch from Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas, saw the rocket enter orbit and traverse half the globe in around an hour and 5 minutes. Starship is pivotal to Musk's goal of colonizing Mars and NASA's Artemis program, which plans to use a modified version to transport astronauts to the moon's surface later this decade. Up next, BRICS Plus Sports with Yolanda Pondo.
Coming soon on BRICS Global Television.
What was your moment in prison when you were like, I don't want to do this anymore?
I was 21 years old when I took my first life in prison. I had 1 star on my shoulder. By the age of 25, I became the first star general of the 28s, meaning that I had 4 stars on both my shoulders. I had taken 8 people's lives.
Only on BGTN.
I have no idea who this guy is. Absolutely no idea. He's not me. I am Ray White. This guy, is a deep fake.
So, as you can see, the BRICS nations have done very well with space exploration, boldly going where no man has gone before. Gosh, it's lovely being in space, isn't it?
Catch me, Ray White, on Building Business One Brick at a Time, your BGTN business show that'll keep you in the know about what's happening in the world of business across BRICS, right here on BGTN.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Pondo with your BRICS Plus Sports Update. Sunil Chetri has bid an emotional farewell to his international football career as he played his last match for India, drawing 0-0 against Kuwait in a World Cup qualifier in Kolkata. Nearly 59,000 fans attended, demonstrating the country's affection for the legendary striker who scored 94 goals for India, ranking him among the top international scorers alongside Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Chetri expressed gratitude to fans for their support over his 19-year career. Despite the emotional atmosphere, India couldn't secure a victory. Chetri's departure from the field was marked by tears and applause, acknowledging his immense contribution to Indian football. Coach Igor Stimas praised Chetri's leadership and dedication, highlighting his irreplaceable impact on the team. Chetri's career, mostly spent in India with brief stints abroad, leaves an indelible mark on Indian football history. And the 97th Comrades Marathon takes place this weekend, with more than 20,000 set to attempt the grueling 85.9-kilometer uprun. The ultramarathon, the world's oldest and largest, will start at 5:30 a.m. in Durban, and cut-off time is 12 hours later in Pietermaritzburg. My colleague Lebo Masike, who has also run the Comrades Marathon, joins me now in studio. Hi Lebo, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi Yolanda, it's only a pleasure.
Take me back to 2015. What would you have been doing at this time 9 years ago?
On a Friday leading up, feet definitely up, no walking up and down, because I was always mindful of that. Because my first Comrades Marathon was 2014, and I did all the mistakes you could think about. Didn't prepare well. I went in undercooked. So 2015, I was so much better prepared. I remember running into a lady who has won Comrades, and she said to me, "You look ready." Because of my physique, everything was on point, and I felt very confident, you know, the Friday. And they always say that your best sleep has to happen on a Friday, because Saturday you're all nerves and you have to wake up early for Sunday.
I mean, the preparation is intense. Do you remember what the hardest part of the run was?
Yeah, the hardest. It was, because Comrades is it's a mental marathon. It's all about mental strength. You have to be mentally strong. You can be physically strong, but because, the longest that, I had run was an ultra for a qualifier, which is a 50 kilometer. Sometimes when you get to that 50 marker point and you're like, okay, I've only gotten this far ever in my training. And then the mind is like, no, you're tired. But I promise you, with 2015, I didn't have that many challenges, because there were people, and I was clever enough to jump on a bus. When you run with a group of people and there's somebody leading, we say that you're on a bus. So when you're jumping on a bus, there's motivation. The person who's leading the bus driver, will say, okay, we're walking. When we get to the next water point, just grab the water and continue running. We're making time. I literally did not have to think about my time and the next cutoff point.
And then tell me about how you felt when you saw that the finishing line was a few hundreds of meters away.
I just cried. And it was, I felt such a sense of achievement, because nothing takes that moment away from you.
And you've interviewed quite a few Comrades winners. What would you say is unique about them?
One thing that every single Comrades champion has shared with me is that discipline is crucial, because without discipline, you're not going to get anywhere. These guys, because they're elite, Yolanda, you have to realize that they're training twice a day. They're holding down for full-time jobs. And you get to realize, you need to sacrifice something in order to reach your goals. If it means that, less family time because you want to achieve that goal. If it means that you're not going out as often as you would like. You're not eating whatever you want to eat. Simply be disciplined, be focused. And for them, every single one of them has said discipline is key.
And then with the new waves of athletes breaking records, with the likes of Gerda Steyn and Tete Dijana, what would you say is the future of ultramarathons?
Yeah, because now these guys work with coaches who have their hand on the pulse of every single thing, from technology to how the weather impacts your training, to why it's important to train at high altitude. And when you're backed by coaches who are focused on every single thing, it's unlike before, when the likes of Bruce Fordyce were, running crazy times, so to speak, winning year after year, and they weren't as technically advanced. Now imagine with the technology that the coaches currently have, the possibilities are endless. You shave off times like you're not even thinking about it. And I think it's going to be interesting this year to see if Tete Dijana can do, 3 wins back to back, because Tete has run and won 2 down runs. So this is a challenge for him. And I think with Gerda, that woman is magic on 2 legs. So I'm excited for Sunday.
And lastly, what advice do you have for this year's runners?
For the novice runners, always remember why you started. Always remember, when it gets tough, remember all those sacrifices. When you couldn't go out, when you had to wake up at 4 a.m. because you have a training run that you need to do. You have this 30 kilometers that you have to do simply for training. Always keep that in mind. And honestly, one thing for sure, never ever try anything new on the day. Just keep to your plan and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the support of the people along the road. You always have people, even if, let's say, you find yourself that you're running alone at some point, but there is somebody on the side of the road cheering you on. Take all of that in and be proud of, wow, this is me doing this. Just have fun.
Lebo, thank you so much for joining me.
Only a pleasure, Yolanda.
That was Lebo Masike chatting to us about her marathon experience. Well, that's it for today's Roundup. I'll be back tomorrow with a weekly wrap of the BRICS Plus sports updates.
And finally, artificial intelligence, AI, is revolutionizing education in China, extending its reach from universities to the arts. CGTN reporter Lu Sire explores how this cutting-edge technology is transforming the future of art students, speaking with professors in the humanities and visiting an AI center at a top Chinese university.
The pattern on these antiques tell a story. That's according to a professor in the archaeology department at Chinese Peking University. He says the evolution of these patterns can offer insights into the spread of culture across place and time. Before, it might take years for researchers to find and piece together the information, matching evolutionary outcomes with certain patterns. But now, the results are practically immediate, all at the tip of the fingers.
In fact, image analysis is very personal. This AI software will correct and assist according to the researcher's logic and ultimately provide personalized services.
The professor says AI has been already applied in archaeological research for many years, but it's now on the verge of becoming more accessible to students and early career researchers.
We now have a lot of content, such as the study of quantitative archaeology and spatial analysis, which all involves the use of AI. In the future, after these contents are more systematic, we may open a new course.
The wide appliance of AI technology across many industries has already raised deep philosophical questions and posed serious ethical issues. New interdisciplinary courses are expected to launch, combining philosophy with other subjects, meaning graduates from other majors could enjoy more future opportunities outside the university.
We need to learn how to integrate this new technology. That means how to develop it in such a way that it will not be harmful to society. We also need to educate ourselves how to act and interact in relation to it. The new world of social media is indeed one battlefield, as it's often described, where we do interact with AI and on the basis of AI. So these are areas in which philosophy graduates can be more hopeful to find job opportunities in the future.
We have the Artificial Intelligence Research Institute, which specializes in intersecting artificial intelligence and other disciplines, including humanities. We are dedicated to enable machines acting autonomously based on correct values and help the humanities to carry out systematic upgrades and accelerate their scientific research process.
Professors also said that the use of artificial intelligence is very similar to the acceptance of computers decades ago. So it's very important for the schools to equip the students with the skill and prepare them for the future world that will be reshaped by the technology. Lu Sire, CGTN, Beijing.
We're back again tomorrow with a roundup of this week's stories. Remember to check out our website and social media for the latest BRICS Plus updates and more.